Helms is a great friend that I met while I was serving a 19-year sentence in California State Prison for something I did to mess my life up. I became friends with Jeremiah because I was seeking a path of betterment, of self-knowledge, of transformation, and my path gravitated to Jeremiah because that is everything that he admits in who he is. He's a very spiritual person. He's taught me to grow stronger in my faith, stronger in my spirituality. He openly invited me to participate in their Native American ceremonies, and I'm a Christian man, and they greeted me in, and they taught me how to grow closer to the God of my understanding. He's very accepting and loving and kind and compassionate. I've got the chance to see him with his family at visiting for years, and he has such an amazing support. It does not surprise me at all to hear his mother share what a great impact he's been on his family by the achievements that he's made, because that's how he's been for me. I'm here to support Jeremiah in any way possible, financially, emotionally, through with employment, of course, through recovery. Any time he needs a ride, anything I can help him with, I'm going to be here with him. I'm also here for him for accountability. I'm part of that network that Mr. Saw just shared about, and all we are doing out here is just supporting each other and using the tools that we learned while we were incarcerated to succeed. We've all achieved great accomplishments, and we're still moving forward, and we really want the same for Jeremiah. He's worth it. Thank you for this time, commissioners, and I wish you guys all a very happy holiday. God bless.
Thank you. The next speaker card we have is for Anthony Trevino. Anthony, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself or press *6 by telephone. Anthony, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. We'll circle back to Anthony. Heidi Rumel. Heidi, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good morning. Heidi Rummel, counsel for Mr. Helms, who has now spent nearly 20 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Commissioner Dobbs and Deputy Commissioner Desai conducted a very thorough, careful hearing, considered all of the evidence, and we are not here to reconsider the evidence of his guilt or innocence, but I will quote from the decision that they found sufficient evidence in the record to support Mr. Helms' innocence case after considering a history of abuse by other adults, including the victim's father, and neglect by the mother and babysitter, and outdated and conflicting medical evidence about shaken baby syndrome. We're here because the governor referred the case based on Mr. Helms' history of substance abuse and questions about his community support. Mr. Helms has been sober since 2008, 16 and a half years. He has been in full recovery since 2014, 10 years. The panel explored these issues with him and found he did not pose a danger. He has 5 different detailed relapse prevention plans for his release. And as you can see from today, he has an outpouring of support. We're tried to limit the number of people who would come before the panel to express their support, but there was a strong feeling of people who wanted to support him. I will simply refer you to the submission that was provided in support of his parole hearing. In addition to his support network call list and services for domestic violence, parenting, and anger management lists, he has 28 different support letters and 4 transitional housing placements from family, sons, his 2 sons, extended family, the Saboba tribe, Project Rebound, Reintegration Academy,
please conclude your statement.
Other organizations, and a multitude of former lifers who also support his release and will be here for him when he is released. Thank you. Grateful to all of you for your hard work and the difficult decisions you make every day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Rummel. The next speaker we have is Salvador Cruz. Salvador Cruz, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself or press *6 by telephone.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Hello, my name is Salvador Cruz. I've known Jeremiah for 9 years. I'm a student at UCLA, And I am a support for him. If, given the chance to back into re-entry into society. I will help him with transportation for sweat lodges or self-help groups. I work with some professors here at UCLA and at LA City College who are also part of, who work with organizations for those who have been impacted by the system or formerly incarcerated and are willing to help Jeremiah as well back into society with jobs or self-help groups or anything that Jeremiah needs. And I also can help him with connecting him with Humble Industries, ARC programs, and just be that support network for him because he's been that for me since I've known him. And Jeremiah is one of the main reasons why I am where I am and what I'm doing with my life at UCLA. And so I'm here to just to help him and support him in every way, in every possible way that I can. And just to help him as a transportation if he needs to get to counseling or employment. But all the resources that he needs, we're waiting for him and just ready to help him in every way that we can. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The last speaker card I have is for Jaden Helms. Jaden, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself or press *6 by telephone. Jaden, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My name is Jaden Helms. I am the son of Jeremiah Helms. And I just want to say that it's been really, really long since I've seen my father, and it has been hard in many ways growing up without a father, but he has been nothing but supportive within being behind bars, and he has been nothing but inspiring and motivating. And I'm proud of him because he has graduated. He's done everything that he needs to do behind bars. And for him to still be motivating us and trying to help us with the little problems that me and my twin brother go through or whatever, he's always been somebody that cares and loves and knows what to say and knows what to do. He is a great man and he is rehabilitated. And I just want you guys to know that he does have the support from everybody, the tribes, his sons. Everybody is willing to support him because he is a great man and he is rehabilitated. And I thank you guys for everything, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you. I'd like to give one more opportunity to Javier Dejaro. Javier, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute.
Javier and Mariah can't appear based on work obligations, but their support letters are in the original submission for the hearing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And one more chance for Anthony Trevino. Anthony Trevino, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself or press *6 by telephone. Anthony, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Okay, I will move on. If you would like to speak in support of Jeremiah Helms and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I'll call on you when it is your turn to speak. I see we have a hand raised for Rosanna Jordan. Rosanna, go ahead and unmute yourself. Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak.
Good morning from Colorado. My name is Rosanna Jordan. I'm retired from Department of Corrections out of 28 years. Jeremiah is my nephew. I have spoken to him numerous times about the processes that he's gone through to ensure that he's rehabilitated himself. He stays focused. He stays committed to his progress, and I believe that he's on the right track. He's doing everything that he has been able to do. He's gotten his degree. He continues to push himself to better himself. I just am so in awe at all of the individuals that are in support of him and how he has made an impact on their lives. I know that I speak to him or text him on a daily, and I converse with him about what the challenges that he will have, and he knows that I will open my home to him, and I have asked if he can parole to Colorado. He has nothing but support, not only from his parents, his family members, his community over there, but the community over here in Colorado and his family over here in Colorado. We support him 100%. Jeremiah has been an individual that continues to stay focused. He makes sure that he is respectful to not only his fellow the offenders there, but also all the staff there. He enjoys supporting individuals, and he enjoys supporting himself to better himself. I truly believe that he is ready to be released. And like I said, he knows that there is going to be a lot of challenges.
Your 2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
But I truly believe that he's ready for this. And thank you all again for the hard work that you guys do, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. There was another hand raised, but it's gone now. If you would like to speak in support of Jeremiah Helms and are on the phone, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Jeremiah Helms? Chairperson, there appear to be no more speakers in support of Jeremiah Helms.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Jeremiah Helms.
Thank you. We do have some speaker cards. The first is for Linda Dunn, DDA of Riverside County. Linda, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning again, everybody. I'm afraid that I have to tell you that I disagree with all the supporters, and here's why. Because Jeremiah Helms took no responsibility for committing the crime that a jury convicted him of and the Court of Appeal affirmed. So basically, this two-person panel, nice people, meant well, they were bamboozled by a claim of innocence. He's not innocent. He never took responsibility for killing a little girl. Her name is Marina. She wasn't even 3. She was alone with him when he assaulted her. She didn't live very long after that. She went to the hospital and died soon after of abusive head trauma. And people can say what they want today, but the findings by the jury and the Court of Appeal was that he was responsible for her death. That's why he got convicted. And yet he told the panel and the clinician that somebody else must have abused her because he didn't do it. So he's not ready. He's not a great guy. He's a guy in complete denial about a hideous crime, killing a little tiny girl who she was afraid of him. Everybody in the family knew that. So his denial was implausible. The panel didn't follow the law. When a denial is completely implausible, as his was, there's a nexus to current dangerousness. I'd ask this en banc panel to please take a look at the law in Bush, in Ray Bush, and in Chaputis too, because even if he doesn't want to admit responsibility for the crime, according to Chaputis, there's current dangerousness because it's not the failure to admit guilt that reflects a lack of insight, but the fact that the denial, his denial is factually unsupported, which it is. There's no support for anyone else killing Marina. So
your 2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
I will. His attorney is asking the panel to retry all the cases. That's not what should happen. What should happen is this grant has to be rescinded and he should have a new hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker card I have is for Ruben Duran. I see that you're with us. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ruben Duran. I am the father of Marina Monique Duran. And she's my 2-year-old daughter who was not stabbed, shot, but she was beaten to death. Now I can go on about how I feel. However, I need to speak on behalf of all the children that are out in the community now. If this man is let out, there could be more victims. He needs to stay, and yeah, he has many friends and got all these degrees, But what is that going to stop him from doing this again? There's nothing. She was a 2-year-old defenseless child. There was no reason for it. I'm just afraid for any other children that are out there. This could happen again, and it may not happen this year, next year, but it will happen again. And I'm just don't want anybody to have to go through what myself has gone through, Marina's sisters have gone through, her grandparents and family members, and all these victims or these families of victims who are feeling the way I feel. I'm, in the room right now. We all feel the same way, and we have the holidays here, and we have Thanksgiving coming up, and I want to go visit Marina at her gravesite and let her know that all the children are still safe, because Marina, I'm sorry, that guy is still going to be incarcerated. I don't want to go and tell her on Thursday that he's been released. So I appreciate your time, and happy holidays.
Thank you. The last speaker card I have is for Ermelinda Valdez. Ermelinda, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute or press *6 by telephone.
Hello, I am the mother of Ruben and grandmother of Marina Monique Duran, who was 2 years old, just 4 days shy of her 3rd birthday, when Marina's life was cut short by inmate Helms, who abused and murdered my granddaughter. My granddaughter was a precious little girl who only loved and had a smile that would melt your heart. You could see Marina was a daddy's girl. We miss our Marina with all our hearts. Inmate Helms, you murdered Marina, a daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, a niece, a cousin, and sister. You took away her 3rd birthday, 1st day of school, graduations, and the opportunity of Marina's dad to walk her down the aisle when she got married. Inmate, you took away all the first of everything that could have been for Marina. At the trial, I saw no remorse in you having committed the murder of our precious Marina. You took away the innocent child's life. You took a piece of our lives also. You took Marina away from her family, a family who loved her. In the meeting on July 31st, 2024, it was brought up that the inmate Helms fell under the youth offender, and this is because the inmate was under 26 years old when the offense of murder was committed. At age 18, you can vote. At age 21, you can drink. And if you are under 26, you can commit the offense of murder, serve some years, and get out of prison without serving the full minimum sentence of 25 years to life. Our family must go to the cemetery to visit Marina. I enclosed a picture. This is her picture. I don't know if you can see it. This is what we see when we go to the cemetery. We cannot hold Marina. We cannot hear her laugh or hear her little voice. Do you know how heartbreaking this is? Inmate, prison is where you should stay. Why? What if another child cries and sees that you don't like her, that she doesn't like you, or they don't like you? Would you
Your
hurt
2
that
minutes
child?
has elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
You may or may not, but something could trigger you to hurt a child or person. This is a risk that should not be taken. You murdered an innocent little girl, Marina Monique Duran. You took a life, and life is what you should serve. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to speak in opposition to Jeremiah Helms and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I'll call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and you want to speak in opposition to Jeremiah Helms, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Jeremiah Helms? Is there anyone who has not spoken who wishes to speak about Jeremiah Helms? Chairperson, there appear to be no more speakers for Jeremiah Helms.
The next case is Marcus Johnson, P64997, item 42. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have no speaker cards for support. If you would like to speak in support of Marcus Johnson and are on video, please raise your... I'm so sorry. Please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and you want to speak in support of Marcus Johnson, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who would like to speak in support of Marcus Johnson? Chairperson, there appear to be no speakers in support of Marcus Johnson.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Marcus Johnson.
Thank you, Chairperson. We do have a speaker card for David Gross, DDA. David, if you're with us, would you unmute yourself or press *6 by his telephone? Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak. David, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. We'll circle back to David. If you would like to speak in opposition to Marcus Johnson and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I'll call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and you want to speak in opposition to Marcus Johnson, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to Marcus Johnson?
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead.
This is David Gross. Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please tell me when it's the appropriate time to speak?
Right now is good, sir.
Okay, I thought so, but I wanted to make sure. Thank you. In 2003, inmate Johnson, age 39, was a victim over a drug debt. The next day, Johnson and his 2 crime partners forced entry into the victim's home and beat the victim with a chair. The crime partners restrained the victim while Mr. Johnson searched the house for valuables. The panel found static factors, criminal history, self-control at the time of the commitment offense to be aggravated. The inmate was sentenced as a 3rd striker. The balance of his crimes involving violence during the period of his drug dealing. The panel found no aggravating dynamic domains, though it acknowledged programming was neutral due to only some internalization of concepts of triggers and coping skills. In total, the inmate attended AA and NA in 2015 and Elements of Change and Trust in 2014. As mentioned by the governor, the clinician diagnosed multiple substance use disorders, including stimulant, severe, alcohol, moderate, and cannabis, moderate, albeit in institutional remission since 2014. The clinician wrote, Mr. Johnson does not appear entirely committed to sobriety and is not actively involved in substance recovery. In fact, the inmate is not programmed in substance abuse prevention or any other programming since 2015, despite telling the panel he had been a crack cocaine addict and all his crimes involved drug debt enforcement. Additionally, the clinician cautioned that his sole support in the community, his sister, is unverified by CDCR. We acknowledge, as did the governor, the inmate is age 61 and has arthritis, uses a cane, and wears wrist and knee support.
Your 2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
Okay. The inmate used accomplices in his previous crimes of violence and would have the ability to do that again. And we thank the esteemed panel and en banc and respectfully recommend precision. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Marcus Johnson? Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak about Marcus Johnson? Chairperson, there appear to be no more speakers for Marcus Johnson.
The next case is Sean Leslie, F19229, item 43. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Thank you, Chairperson. We do have a couple of speaker cards. The first is for Maya Emig. Maya, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself or press *6 by telephone. Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak.
Thank you so much. Executive Officer Schaefer, Chief Counsel Blanian, Chairperson Infante, and honorable commissioners of the Board of Parole Hearings. I'm attorney Maya Emig. I represented Sean Leslie both at his initial suitability hearing on December 22nd, 2023, where he was granted parole, as well as the July 31st, 2024 hearing, where he again was granted parole, after the board referred the matter for a new suitability hearing. The hearing on July 31st, 2024 was a thorough hearing by Commissioner Weiss and Deputy Commissioner Taylor. Probative and insightful questions were asked of Mr. Leslie. The transcript contains all those details. What the transcript leaves out is the directness and tone my client had, the answers of questions with sincerity and candidness, and palpable remorse. Mr. Leslie's record is full of his accomplishments and resounding evidence of his rehabilitation. It is evident in his thorough relapse prevention plans and his accountability. Governor Newsom expressed concerns for whether Mr. Leslie has sufficient insight into his risk factors, but specifically inmate relationship dynamics and the skills Mr. Leslie needs to successfully manage them in the community. I have submitted a 4-page memorandum addressing the governor's concerns for your consideration and have quoted Mr. Leslie verbatim. For brevity and for not being repetitive, I stand with Mr. Leslie, his mentors, family, and friends today as we advocate for his release. Thank you for your consideration. Happy holidays, and I yield my time back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next speaker card I have is for Brian Thomas Leslie. Brian, if you're with us, go ahead and unmute yourself. Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak, or press *6 by telephone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good morning. I'm Brian Leslie. I'm Sean Leslie's brother. I'm here today to give you more insight into the evolution that my brother's gone through during his incarceration, specifically with respect to his risk factors the governor's asked you to evaluate. I wrote my brother off during his incarceration early on. Sean used to blame everyone and everybody but himself. He was self-righteous, entitled, and engaged in violence. He belonged in prison. Sean's changed over the years and repeatedly took responsibilities for his actions and repeatedly held himself accountable. I can see a change in him. His actions finally matched his words. As such, Sean earned his way back into my life, and I now consider him not only my brother, but as a good friend. He's caring, kind, sensitive, and he looks out for people. I'm very proud of him. He has tremendous support from my father and my family. And when I lost my daughter 2 years ago, he was there for me during a very difficult time in my life. His actions matched his words consistently. I can see it with the way he thinks through his consequences of his actions now, the support he receives from his mentors, and the contributions he makes inside the institution. His self-worth is derived from giving to others and improving himself. His work ethic is so strong, and his love for others comes across in how he conducts himself. He's honest, straightforward, and he's consistent. My family and I ask that you allow his finding of suitability to stand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If you would like to speak in support of Sean Leslie and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I'll call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and you want to speak in support of Sean Leslie, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Sean Leslie? Chairperson, there appear to be no more speakers in support of Sean Leslie.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Sean Leslie.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have no speaker cards. If you would like to speak in opposition to Sean Leslie and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I'll call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and you want to speak in opposition to Sean Leslie, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Sean Leslie? Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak about Sean Leslie? Chairperson, there appear to be no more speakers for Sean Leslie.
The next case is Ernesto Lopez, G20950, item 44. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
The first speaker is Eric Fabrian. Eric, if you're with us, your 2 minutes begin when you begin speaking. Eric Fabrian, are you with us? We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Your 2 minutes begin when you begin speaking.
Okay. My name is Eric Fabian, and I am currently employed at the Jesuit Restorative Justice Initiative, JRJI, a religious nonprofit organization that provides pastoral ministry to heal relationships broken by the effects of crime and violence located in Southgate, California. In early 2020, I met Ernesto at Avenue State Prison, and from the first moment, he made an impact on my life as he was friendly, respectful, and more importantly, transparent in his willingness to help. That might not mean a lot to most people in free society, but for those of us that lived or are living in prison, it was clear evidence that Ernesto was behaving outside of the gang prison mentality box. Shortly after meeting Ernesto, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, which shut down self-help programs for a while, and due to pandemic protocols CDCR was forced to implement, I was moved to the dorm Ernesto was assigned to. It will be there where I will earn his trust as he opened to me about the traumas that contributed to him choosing a life of criminality, making me a part of his healing journey. Ernesto is without a doubt one of the most, if not the most genuine individuals I came across in the 10 years I was in recovery while in prison. Many times I had the privilege to witness his remorse every time he spoke about the shame he felt for attempting to murder Ivan. He shared not because of any accolades he would receive, but for no other reason than to bring awareness to the devastating ripple effect one sets in motion every time a crime is committed. Society will benefit greatly by having Ernesto as a citizen, for he is not only committed to his own recovery, but also one with a genuine desire to help anyone that needs it. That's just the way he is. As time after time, I saw him go out of his way to help all individuals he interacted with, be it to listen or to offer a word of advice. In no way, shape, or form do I imply that this upsets all the harm he caused by his attempt to murder Ivan. I only say this to highlight the type of man that Ernesto Lopez is today. I support the release of Ernesto Lopez, and I'm ready to assist him financially, morally, emotionally, or otherwise. Furthermore, I will help him
Your 2 minutes have elapsed.
Back into society by bringing the JR organization to various resources and networks for Mr. Lopez. Thank you so much.
If you would like to speak in support of Ernesto Lopez and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Ernesto Lopez, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Ernesto Lopez? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Ernesto Lopez.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Ernesto Lopez.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Ernesto Lopez and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Ernesto Lopez, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Ernesto Lopez? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Ernesto Lopez? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Ernesto Lopez.
The next case is Matthew McCoy, case 78529, item 45. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
If you would like to speak in support of Matthew McCoy and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Matthew McCoy, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. It looks like we have a hand raised. Levi?
Yes. Yes, Levi.
Your 2 minutes begin. Your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Thank you. My name is Levi Uku. I represent Mr. McCoy in the parole hearing. I do understand the governor's concerns in his letter, but however, Mr. McCoy have demonstrated offenders changed, has shown internalization of the programming. He has a very good and solid parole plans, anti-relapse plans, which actually address his substance abuse, which he testify, and the board, the panel, felt were the genesis of his crimes, of criminal lifestyle. And he has addressed that and put in place a very credible plan that addresses or prevent relapse of that fundamental flaw of character that he has. And given in the past 36 months or thereabout, he has not had any issues with substance abuse. And it seems to me that the board should affirm the finding of suitability. I did submit a 2-page letter to that effect. I refer the panel to my letter. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Matthew McCoy? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Matthew McCoy.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Matthew McCoy.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Matthew McCoy and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Matthew McCoy, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Matthew McCoy? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Matthew McCoy? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Matthew McCoy.
Thank you. Before we proceed to item 46, we are going to now take a 10-minute break. The time is 10:55 and we will reconvene in 10 minutes. Moderator, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, the next case is Antonio Mendez, number BK 8010, item 46. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
The first speaker is Angelica Diaz. Angelica, if you are with us, please unmute yourself and your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Angelica Diaz. I am the mother of an inmate. I'm a direct support professional, caregiver, enjoy my job. Antonio Mendez has taken accountability of his responsibility for this crime. At one time, I was going through bad times, and both of us were supporting each other, attending church and building a relationship with God. He enjoys the challenges and is bettering himself every day. He wants to continue to grow. He has completed his rehabilitation and has shown me in different ways. He has 3 brothers. There are three teenagers that he has been talking to them on a daily. He does send them verses from the Bible and teaches them about God and tells them that it is very important for them to continue their education and further. And he further his education, wants to be a mentor and educate teenagers to make good choices. He would be a good person for the community, and he would be helping teenagers and supporting them in every way. Now, Antonio Mendez is a fast learner. He has been, I've been visiting him, making daily calls. I've been talking about God, talking about activities. He does sing in the choir. He attends groups of support. He has completed college courses and supporting and I'm supporting him on his classes that he does. He did a marathon there in prison where one of the inmates approached me and said he was a faster and he loves to challenge. He loves the challenge. He also did the St. Jude donation. So he has grown over the years. He knows more about the Bible than I do. I became a Christian, and I know that when he comes out, I will be supporting him in every way. I will be supporting him by him calling me and him if he needs financial support.
Your 2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
Yes, please give him a second chance, and he will be a good and valuable person in the society. Thank you so much. You guys have a happy Merry Christmas, and God bless you guys.
Our next speaker is Kaylani Munoz. Kaylani, you have 2 minutes. Your time begins when you begin to speak.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Antonio Mendez is my brother, and he is a very understanding person. He seems more calm and more joyful when he talks. He loves to call us and just talk to us about everything that he's doing in there, his schooling, his activities, and his journey through his relationship with God. He opens up a lot about it, and he helps me with my relationship and growing with God. And he inspires me to be just like him because, you know, he's in there and I'm out here, and I'm not attending school right now, but he gives me motivation to want to be better because I see that he's doing it and I know I could do it. And I can't wait to see him when he's out, and I know he's going to come out. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Vincent Nunez. Vincent, you have 2 minutes. Your time begins when you begin to speak.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, I'm Vincent Nunez. I am Tony's brother. Recently, I have turned 18, and with turning 18, I was able to visit my brother. For the first time in about 6 years, I couldn't recognize him. He is a completely different person. from when he went in, he's just smiling the entire time. It was truly, truly a spectacular moment for me. He always motivates me to continue school. I am pretty gifted at school, but I just don't. I'm not really too focused. I'm more focused in work and all that. But he does motivate me in other areas too, such as my health. He focuses on gym, like working out a lot. And that's one of the main reasons why he went in, was because he was not focused on his health. He was, drinking a lot. And since then, he's been joining AA classes, multiple other classes that help with, the understanding of the human body and how his mind thinks. He is always tutoring me on how to become a better person, and through his mistakes I've learned a lot. I believe he does, although he's only been there for 6 years, he is completely changed. I surely do not recognize him anymore. He's been such an amazing role model. He motivates me greatly to become a better person. I am always in the gym because I want to be better than him, and I still feel like I'm not, even though he is still locked
Your 2
up.
minutes have elapsed.
I would love to see him come out. Thank you for your time, guys.
Our next speaker is Miguel Diaz. Miguel, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak. Miguel Diaz, are you with us? We will circle back to Miguel. Our next speaker is Felipe Diaz. Felipe, are you with us? Felipe Diaz, are you with us? We will circle back to Felipe as well. Our next speaker is Yvonne Mendez. Yvonne, are you there? Yvonne, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. We will circle back to Yvonne. Our next speaker is Delfino Mendez. Delfino, are you there? We will circle back as well. If you would like to speak in support of Antonio Mendez and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Antonio Mendez, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Antonio Mendez? We'll circle back. Miguel Diaz. Miguel Diaz, are you there? Felipe Diaz? Yvonne Mendez? Delfino Mendez? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Antonio Mendez.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Antonio Mendez.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Antonio Mendez and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Antonio Mendez, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Antonio Mendez? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Antonio Mendez? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Antonio Mendez.
The next case is Mario Mesa, K51448, item 47. Moderator, please call for speakers in support. Moderator, I believe you're frozen.
Hello. I could continue until he's unfrozen.
Thank you, Ms. Stiles. So at this time, we're taking speakers in support of Mario Meza.
Mason or Mendez?
Meza, item 47.
Meza, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I have no speaker cards for just getting right down to that point. Just bear with me 1 second, sir. All right. If you would like to speak in support of Mario Meza and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button. I'll call on you as your turn to speak. I see we have a couple of hands raised. For Gina Ferguson, go ahead. Your 2 minutes starts when you begin to speak. I believe you are still muted. Gina, there's a microphone icon right next to you.
Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Gina Ferguson. I am Mario's younger sister-in-law, and I'm 46 years old. I am a branch manager for a national company, electronics distribution company. And in that role, I am one who implements processes and encourages and exhorts. And I share all this, and I'm also married. And I've been married for going on 19 years. And I have a 25-year-old autistic son, an 18-year-old daughter in college, and a 10-year-old. And I'm also the children's ministry coordinator at our church. And I've been serving in that role for over 10 years. And I'm sharing all this information because I wasn't really prepared. I didn't know what to expect. This is my first time attending one of these ever. But I thought it was really important for you to understand who are the people who are here waiting for him to support him. And so we are here and we go, I'm very truthful and honest, and I speak in love. And something that I share with Mario is, you know, when you come home, you know, the challenges come, the challenges will be here, but with every challenges are also the victories. It's what makes us stronger. It's what makes us wiser, and equips us to come to the next one with grace. And so we are not only excited and full of emotion, but we've been putting in work and really preparing ourselves as a family, as a community, to see Mario come home. I've known Mario since he was 14 years old. And when I first heard my sister was going to date Mario, I was like, what? But when I started speaking with Mario, there was definitely a transformation that blew my mind, and that it was very impressive and just really touched my heart, to where I have truly fallen in love with this man and am excited to see what he's going to do.
Your 2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
My statement is that when Mario comes home, I not only think he's going to impact his own life, but impact many lives around him, because he has walked it, and he will be able to change their lives before they end up in the places where he had allowed himself to as a young man. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I see we have another hand up, Maria Meza. Maria, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Hi, I'm Maria Meza. I'm the wife of Mario Meza. Thank you, honorable commissioners and board members. We've been married for 6 years. I've known Mario, like she said, for the last 35 years. We went to middle school together. We reconnected. He wrote me a letter when his father passed away from cancer. And from there on, through just communication on the phone and letters, we grew very close and we fell in love. And my family had a hard time with it in the beginning, but they've grown to love him. And he's grown so much. He's joined the Positive Change program, which at first he wasn't sure he was able to do it. But through this, we've seen tremendous growth in himself, in a role of leadership, and also just caring for others' needs. And he tells me all the time that that's how he wants to make an amends for his actions, is he's found this way through Dogs of Caring, and he wants to give back to his community. Also, I work as a healthcare assistant for a school district, and education is very important in our lives. And so he's also gotten a degree, actually 3, in associate's arts and sociology. in liberal arts and also in communication. So education's now part of his life and he enjoys doing it. And also most important is our faith. I've met him through my brother-in-law, who is his cousin, but is also pastor of Calvary Chapel. And we are a very faith-based family. And he also was a person when I got with, had very little hope, who now just is a faith-based man. And it wasn't because I asked him, he did it all on his own. He just, through love and now having hope and support, I know the transformative impact that support can have. I was on the IFC and was also chairperson for 1 year through the state, where I got to meet quarterly with the wardens and you know, their staff members, and able to give input of family.
2 minutes have elapsed. Please
So
conclude your
through
statement.
that, my family will be able, I will be able, I have my husband will be able to support it, and mental health, AA rights will all be there for him. We just hope that you have grace on him and able to come home to his family and start our new journey. He will be able to be a positive impact on his community. Thank you so much for your time. Happy holidays and happy Thanksgiving to you all.
If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Mario Meza, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Mario Meza? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Mario Meza.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Mario Meza.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Mario Meza and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Mario Meza, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Mario Meza? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Mario Meza? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Mario Meza.
Next case is SULE Oliver, G28459, item 48. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
The first speaker is May Hobson. May, if you are with us, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak. Looks like we have a hand raised. I'm sorry. May Hobson,
Yes.
if you were, Levi, we'll come to you once May Hobson speaks, if she is.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, May. Your 2 minutes begin when you begin speaking.
Okay. Morning. I'm May Hobson, Sule Oliver's mother. I'm asking if you can find in your favor for my son to come home. I believe he learned his lesson of wrong and right. He have a sister that been sick and had many surgeries now. She needs a kidney surgery, and he wants to give her his kidney. We really would like him to come home and join his family. I'm also going through health issue myself. I pray that you will bless him to return to his family. And I live in North Dakota, so it's hard for me to come out there to see him, but I would really love to come see him when you guys release him. Thank you, and y'all have a blessed day.
If you would like to speak in support of Sule Oliver and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it's your turn to speak. Levi Uku, your 2 minutes begin when you begin speaking.
Thank you. I was the lawyer for Mr. Sule in his parole board hearing, and I did submit a 2-page letter. However, I needed to address the EDD fraud event in his life. At the hearing, he showed absolute remorse for engaging in that EDD situation. He accepted and owned it up that it was because of criminal thinking. Agreed. He felt he could get away with it, but he has addressed that criminal thinking by taking additional programming in criminal thinking and also CGA to address that aspect. And he said he recognizes how he let his imagination to get the best part out of him. And he has written, he wrote a very good anti-relapse prevention plan. He's going to continue with criminal thinking and substance abuse programming if he's paroled. And he has a very good, credible transition housing. He demonstrated self-awareness of his causative factors, causative factors, and also his triggers. He believed his triggers were substance abuse, and it seems to me that he has a good anti-relapse plan in place to check that. And he said that he's going to be vigilant always as far as like continue with his programming to make sure that it does
Your
not
2
relapse.
minutes have elapsed. Please conclude.
With that, I urge the board to sustain the finding of suitability. Thank you.
Okay.
If you're on the phone and would like to speak in support of SULE Oliver, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken and wants to speak in support of SULE Oliver?
Hi, good morning. Happy holidays, everyone. Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Good morning. Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Kiana King. I'm calling on behalf of my brother, SULE Oliver. SULE was the youngest of 4, 3 girls, 1 boy, my mother, only son. SULE was an amazing kid growing up. My mom had him in every sport there was. He was so full of life, with a good heart, such a loving person to watch him grow. SULE been incarcerated since 2007. Since then, he has grown from a child to an adult and changed his life around. He has not had any 115 since 2017. SULE has changed many of lives by writing the youth offenders. I'm also a mother of 4, 3 boys, 1 girl, which SULE played a big part of in their life, especially since their father has passed away. SULE been a great uncle to them, and we're begging you all to please release my brother. Let him come home to his family. SULE have a family that loves and support him, and we miss him so much. He's definitely not a threat to society. We lost our father a year ago. My mom is having health problems. My younger sister is fighting for cancer. For years, I honestly feel she's just hanging in there to see her brother come home. On behalf of me and my family, we would like to say thank you all for your time and patience, and we're begging you, please, find in your heart to release my brother. We really need him home with us, and want to say thank you all again for consideration, and you guys have a blessed holiday.
Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of SULE Oliver? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of SULE Oliver.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to SULE Oliver.
If you would like to speak in opposition to SULE Oliver and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and want to speak in opposition to SULE Oliver, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to SULE Oliver? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about SULE Oliver? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for SULE Oliver.
The next case is NERY Quintanilla, F97772, item 49. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
If you would like to speak in support of NERY Quintanilla and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and want to speak in support of NERY Quintanilla, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of NERY Quintanilla? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of NERY Quintanilla.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to NERY Quintanilla.
If you'd like to speak in opposition to NERY Quintanilla and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and want to speak in opposition to NERY Quintanilla, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to NERY QUINTANILLA? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about NERY QUINTANILLA? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for NERY QUINTANILLA.
The next case is Sylvester RAWLS, AL 1000, item 50. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
The first speaker is Sunil Joseph. Sunil, if you're with us, please unmute yourself, and you will have 2 minutes to speak when you begin speaking.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I will read My name is Sunil Joseph. I facilitate the GRIP program at CTF Soledad. GRIP stands for Guiding Rage into Power. It's a year-long healing and accountability program based on restorative justice principles. Sylvester RAWLS graduated from the program in 2024. Sylvester applied 6 times over 6 years before being accepted into the program. I really appreciated his commitment to his rehabilitation and healing, that he persevered and showed up for the selection despite multiple rejections. Sylvester was an engaged student during the program. In a circle of 34 peers, he shared vulnerable stories from his childhood, beginning the process of healing his wounds and understanding the roots of his violent behavior. Sylvester also shared himself vulnerably in the written assignments, which required him to delve deeply into his past, including childhood traumas, grief over lost loved ones, unresolved issues, and also the details of his commitment offense. Sylvester deepened his empathy for his victims by attending a surrogate victim survivor visit. His genuine remorse and heartbreak for the harm he caused was plain to see. Sylvester also learned and practiced mindfulness and emotional intelligence tools to help him develop his impulse control. After he graduated from the program, Sylvester was invited to join the facilitation for the next class of students. In this role, he has supported other men as they engage in the difficult work of healing their traumas, understanding their violent behavior, and learning the tools to stop their violence. Sylvester is an effective facilitator because he has done the inner work himself, and he models what he teaches through his behaviors and actions. Sylvester knows this is a lifelong practice, not just a year-long class. Having known Sylvester as a student for a year and having worked with him as a fellow facilitator, I'm confident he will continue to be a man of service and a positive influence on those around him, no matter where he is. I sincerely hope you consider giving Sylvester the opportunity to come home. Thank you.
If you would like to speak in support of Sylvester RAWLS and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. I see we have a hand raised. Tommy Ross, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Okay, esteemed commissioners, my name is Tommy Ross, and I'm a GRIP facilitator and program communications associate at the GRIP Training Institute. In October 2021, I was found suitable by this board and paroled from San Quentin after serving 37 years. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to contribute to my community. Thank you for entrusting me with the responsibilities and opportunities of a returned citizen. I speak respectfully on behalf of Sylvester RAWLS in regards to who he is today. I came to meet Mr. RAWLS many years ago and later came to know him through his participation in Guiding Rage into Power at CTF. I have observed, interacted, and worked with Mr. RAWLS on many occasions. As a student, I have watched him mentor other members of GRIP, and he has shown himself as a role model. Mr. RAWLS is being trained as a GRIP facilitator and embraces the ideal of our program: honesty, integrity, accepting responsibility, and acknowledging one's crime. Mr. RAWLS has shared with me and our group his remorse for his crime and empathy for his victim and the community at large. He recognizes freely that his actions have caused pain and suffering, and he accepts these emotions as valid and true, and as his burden to carry with him throughout his life. In my opinion, I see a person continuously evolving. As such, I'm committed to assisting him reintegrate back into society in healthy and supportive ways. I will offer Mr. RAWLS limited financial support and provide access to an expansive network of reentry professionals with a multitude of resources. Based on who I know Sylvester RAWLS to be today, I can confidently say that he has come to terms with his past criminality and the harm he has caused. Therefore, I do not believe that he is a threat to society, but rather a thoughtful, compassionate, and intelligent person with a strong sense of values. I believe
Your 2
given
minutes
the
have elapsed.
opportunity,
Please conclude your statement.
he will be an asset to whatever community he paroles to. Thank you for your time and effort and consideration in this matter.
We have another hand up, Latrice Owens. Latrice, your time begins when you begin to speak.
Hello, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I am the youngest sister of Sylvester RAWLS, and my name is Latrice Owens, and I have been in support of Sylvester ever since he's been incarcerated, and that's both financially, calling him, writing letters, and just being present for him. While I was not able to attend physically while he was there, but I did have the opportunity this year to be present at his GRIP program graduation, and my opportunity to see his growth and the change in him, the way that he talks, the way that he was carrying himself, really made me know that he was a changed man. Not only that, but him also getting his GED, being a part of anger management programs, domestic violence counseling courses, just definitely made me know and aware that he has changed. And so since my brother has been in there, he has lost his father, our mother, and his grandmother as well, and missed out on a lot of the opportunities to see his children grow, along with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So I am looking forward to seeing him hopefully on this year. And just thank you guys for this time, and letting you know as well that he will be supported by all of us, his siblings, his children, grandchildren, and my husband also wanted to speak on his behalf.
Yes, my name is Henry Owens. I am the pastor of Greater Light Christian Center Church, and I'm speaking on behalf of Sylvester RAWLS based upon what he has done in the changing of his life, both naturally and spiritually. So I believe he is able and ready now to be basically put back into society, to be a productive member of society. And I believe by granting him the parole that he is up for, that he will definitely be a great member to be added back into our society. And also, he has the ability now with the plumbing certification that he has received, he is able to support himself as well. So I don't believe his recidivism rate will continue. I believe that he is a changed man and that he is ready now to come back into society once again. Thank you.
If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Sylvester RAWLS, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Sylvester RAWLS?
Randall Brown.
Hello.
Sounds like we have two people. I heard Randall.
Rhonda Curry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rhonda. Your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
My name is Rhonda Curry. I'm Sylvester RAWLS' sister, his middle sister. And I was calling to let you know how loving he is and kind. I was homeless. He came to pick me up off the streets, put me in the shelter. And I gained my life back by going through the shelter and getting my own place back and getting back in life. And I'm just ready to receive my brother at home. And I thank you all for this time.
Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Sylvester RAWLS? Chairperson, there are no more speak. Yes, hello, please state your name.
Randall Brown.
Randall, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Thank you. I am in support of my uncle Sylvester coming home. I am the direct result of his love, compassion, and leadership in the family. I am now 38 years old, successful marriage with 3 children, who's worked in the field of group homes, education, working with at-risk youth for the last 15 years. Due to the stories and leadership that he gave me, I've worked and helped numerous amount of young kids from backgrounds such as his in the past, and none of that would have been possible without his direct impact on my life and the leadership that he's given to our family. I think that he can change a lot more lives once he is returned to his community and continue to implement the structure that he put into me and to the rest of our family, and giving back in numerous ways. So I hope that you guys take it in consideration to release him and let him come home to continue the love and show compassion to the rest of us, so that we can continue to be the best versions of ourselves through his leadership and compassion. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Sylvester RAWLS? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Sylvester RAWLS.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Sylvester RAWLS.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Sylvester RAWLS and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Sylvester RAWLS, please unmute yourself, *6, and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken and wants to speak in opposition to Sylvester RAWLS? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Sylvester RAWLS? Please identify yourself.
Kiana Lewis. I'm Sylvester RAWLS' oldest daughter.
Begin when you begin to speak.
And are you speaking in support or opposition?
I'm speaking in support of my father.
Okay.
I'd like to thank you, the courts, for this opportunity to speak on my father's behalf. I must say this has been a long time coming. My dad being absent out of our lives has had a huge effect on not only myself, but my siblings as well. He has a host of family who respect and love him. He did not have the best upbringing, but I believe in redemption. I believe that the God we serve is able to give us second chances. So I believe that at this time, my father is ready to come home and be an asset to his community and be a good citizen. Like I said, I'm the oldest of his children. I'm 44 years old. I'm a licensed minister. And being without my dad, it has affected myself and my siblings in a huge way. My sister was a victim of domestic violence. I'm raising her son right now. It's going on 6 years. And the man who attacked my sister only received 5 years, and he's free. My sister had to learn how to walk again, talk again. And unfortunately, my father was not there to be able to support my sister in her transition on getting better. But hopefully he will be released and be able to come home and be the father and grandfather and now great-grandfather, because I'm a grandmother, to his family. We miss my dad. We know that he has made mistakes, as we all have. But like I said, I believe that the God we serve is a God of second chances. So I just hope that you find in your heart to release him and let him start to build his life again. Love you, Dad.
Thank you. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak about Sylvester RAWLS? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Sylvester RAWLS.
The next case is Kenneth Ray, H39778, item 51. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
If you'd like to speak in support of Kenneth Ray and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and would like to speak in support of Kenneth Ray, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Kenneth Ray? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Kenneth Ray.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to Kenneth Ray.
If you'd like to speak in opposition to Kenneth Ray and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button. I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Kenneth Ray, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Kenneth Ray? Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak about Kenneth Ray? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Kenneth Ray.
The next case is Victor Rendon-Espinoza, BD 2464, item 52. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
If you'd like to speak in support of Victor Rendon-Espinoza and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Victor Rendon-Espinoza, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of Victor Rendon-Espinoza? Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Victor Rendon-Espinoza.
Moderator will now take speakers in opposition to Victor Rendon-Espinoza.
If you speak in opposition to Victor Rendon-Espinoza and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Victor Rendon-Espinoza, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Victor Rendon-Espinoza? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about Victor Rendon-Espinoza? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Victor Rendon-Espinoza.
The next case is PACO SALDANA, H48305, item 53. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
The first speaker is Kurt Nichols. Kurt, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Hi, I'm Kurt Nichols. I met PACO SALDANA while teaching a prison fellowship reentry class at Folsom State Prison. We've been leading this class for over 10 years. It's a year-long curriculum and it meets every Tuesday night. Over time, I found that a lot of inmates drop out of this class after a few months of attending. It's not uncommon to lose 10 or 12 individuals out of a starting group of 25. They simply don't want to put in the work for personal change or don't want to put in the work to get ready for release. That's not PACO. He was at class on time every Tuesday night for 52 weeks. And not just present at class, but actively and enthusiastically participating in class exercises and discussions while also supporting other inmates doing the same. Mr. Saldana is fully aware and remorseful of his alcohol addiction and past history. He's been actively involved in Celebrate Recovery and other self-help groups to make a personal change and end that destructive behavior. PACO has good job skills and a solid employment history, and I'm confident that he'll have no trouble finding work when he gets out. I heartily endorse the release of PACO Saldana to become a productive, restored citizen.
Our next speaker is Michael LaRocco. Michael, if you can hear us, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Yes, good morning. This is Michael LaRocco. I am a volunteer instructor at Folsom Prison teaching a year-long reentry course. Our class focuses on goal setting, being a man of integrity, employment values, and other life skills. PACO was a student in our class during 2023. PACO was an active member of class, contributing to class discussion, completing his reentry goal plan, completing his resume, and actively participating in improving his interviewing skills. I remember during the class, PACO had a board hearing of which he was found unsuitable. I was really impressed that PACO had this attitude and shared that He was thankful that the board gave him clear feedback on what to continue to work on. PACO seemed motivated to address these concerns. When I recently asked him what he has done since, he pointed to ongoing Celebrate Recovery classes, his participation in chapel programs, and additional classes where he learned from life simulation role plays, which he felt really attributed to his growth. I understand that PACO has been accepted into a transition center in San Pedro, Fred Brown Recovery. I also plan to offer my mentoring services to PACO to keep him accountable to his goals. I ask that you find PACO suitable for release. Thank you for your time and happy Thanksgiving.
If you would like to speak in support of PACO Saldana and are on video, raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of PACO Saldana, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in support of PACO Saldana? Chairperson, there are no more speakers of PACO in support of PACO Saldana.
Moderator, we will now take speakers in opposition to PACO Saldana.
If you'd like to speak in opposition to PACO Saldana and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in opposition to PACO Saldana, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to PACO Saldana? Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak about PACO Saldana? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for PACO Saldana.
The last case today is Anthony UCKELE, G14060, item 54. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
If you'd like to speak in support of Anthony UCKELE and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you're on the phone and want to speak in support of Anthony UCKELE, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Anthony UCKELE.
Moderator will now take speakers in opposition to Anthony UCKELE.
If you would like to speak in opposition to Anthony UCKELE and are on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. If you are on the phone and want to speak in opposition to Anthony UCKELE, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wants to speak in opposition to Anthony UCKELE? Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak about Anthony UCKELE? Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Anthony UCKELE.
We will now take comments from anyone who has not yet spoken and wants to comment on a case on today's agenda.
Is there anyone who has not spoken who wants to speak in support or opposition to any case on today's agenda? If you are on video, please press the raise your hand button. If participating by telephone, please unmute yourself. It looks like we have a couple of hands raised. The first one I see is Clarissa Vasquez. Clarissa, if you can hear me, your 2 minutes begin when you begin to speak.
Hello, yes, good afternoon. I'm speaking on behalf of Marcus Daniel Chavarria. He's my grandfather, and he's been incarcerated for 25 plus years.
Excuse me, we are not taking comments on Marcus Chavarria, as this is a tie vote, so comments will not be permitted for this case.
What?
I can explain real quick. Because it's a tie vote case, the board sitting en banc must make its decision as to whether to adopt the decision to grant or to deny based on the record that was before the hearing panel. So they cannot take additional information, including comment from the public, prior to making that decision. Our apologies, but we will post the outcome of today's decision by this evening, so you'll know whether they adopted the decision to grant or the decision to deny. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have a couple more hands raised. The first one I see is Bernadette Madrigal. Bernadette, if you can hear us, please unmute yourself and begin speaking.
It was just regarding, it was also regarding my grandfather, Danny Chavarria. So that was all.
As well as Ruby. Ruby Madrigal, are you on the same case?
That was, sorry, didn't know, was that we wouldn't be able to speak on a time matter. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for today's cases.
All right, thank you. Does any board member wish to request an agenda item for a future meeting? Hearing none. Now we will hear comments from the public regarding general matters related to the board. We are not taking comments on cases right now. Comments concerning future parole hearings are not permitted during this meeting. Please send those comments to the board for inclusion in the materials for that hearing. Comments are limited to 2 minutes and there is no opportunity for rebuttal. Please wait to speak until we call your name or identify you by your login information. A moderator, is there anyone seeking to make a general comment related to the board?
The first speaker is Vanessa Nelson Sloan. I believe Vanessa is in person.
Yes, she is.
Thank you. A few months ago, several commissioners visited the RISE program at CMF. This was at the beginning of the restitution avoidance as a reason for grant denial era. This issue came up during conversations with more than one commissioner, and they all advised the same thing. Be honest with us at the hearing, and we will all get through this. And for the most part, lifers who engage in this decades-old and widely ignored practice have done so at hearings, and they have also ceased their participation. And yet every week we receive a literal stack of letters from those who have been denied, with restitution questions figuring prominently in that denial. Do the panels usually tie this to criminal thinking? Yes, and perhaps that's the only indication of criminal thinking noted, even when the actions are years old. So we're looking at this trend, and we've noted a few very preliminary things after examining a rather small first sample. At least 29% of those denied had low risk ratings. There appear to be more 5-year denials than average in this group. Some hearings were notably brief, 20 to 30 minutes in a couple of cases. And comparing the grant rate for the first 10 months of 2024 to the same period in 2023, the overall grant rate is down by 4%. Curious but interesting in light of the fact that no new laws have impacted grant conditions this year, and there is no new cohort of lifers to consider, as we saw when elderly and youthful candidates entered the mix. The only thing that seems to have made a substantial change is the examination of restitution as a justification for denial. So we have questions. How is it a fair and equitable process to so frequently use this new finding when multitudes of lifers previously granted parole, also engaged in this practice, have paroled, and even with this modicum of criminal thinking have not reoffended? What effect will the implementation of AB 1186 have on this new board worry? It seems the legislature does not share the board's concern regarding any convergence of restitution avoidance and recidivism. Will the board continue to question lifers about this practice after January 1st, when the restitution may have been or will soon be wiped away by changes in the law? Will CDCR up their game on quelling staff support and furtherance of this practice? And if so, how? Those are our questions for now.
2 minutes have elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
And we will wait for the answers. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Vervin Brookins. Is Vervin in person?
Yes.
I see that. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I was going to apologize for being late, but it seemed like I was a little bit early. I just jumped up because I normally come. I realized while I was sitting there today, marks 15 years to the date that I was paroled. Yeah, and congratulations. I hear you are retiring, so thank you very much for your service. Commissioners, I'm just here today to say thank you in this holiday season for giving me an opportunity to let you know there are a lot of lifers that are out doing good things. I mean, a lot, tremendous amount. Personally, my organization, Brother to Brother, we're one of the lead organizations for intervention and prevention work here in Sacramento. And a lot of organizations are doing the same, but within these groups are individuals that you've given dates to that are coming home and making tremendous progress. We have a lot of work to do, but I just want to let you guys know, don't envy your work, but you know, the decisions you guys making are on point. Side note, I proposed one of the solutions to gun violence prevention to the youth, and that's simply to elevate gun violence possession cases to the same level of DUI cases. You catch a DUI, you go to class. Well, I presented you catch a gun possession case, you go to a gun awareness class where you learn the consequences of what happens the moment you decide to pick up that gun, specifically targeting young people. Assemblyman McCarty took this legislation, got it passed to the assembly, but it died in appropriations because he was running for mayor. But incoming assembly person, Maggie Krill, she's going to take it up again. It's an excellent program where these young people are really understanding what comes after that decision of picking up that gun. The lessons that this panel have, I know I got.
Your 2 minutes have elapsed.
The lessons that this panel have forced us to go inside ourselves and learn, we're teaching it now, and that's what this class is about. So just want to let you know that that's one of the fruits of the decisions that you guys are making, and I'm forever thankful. I'll be back next year during the holiday season. I'm gonna try to bring some guys like my man back, who every day is a Christmas day for us. So just want to say thank you, man, and ladies, we appreciate you.
If you would like to make a general comment or on video, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, and I will call on you when it is your turn to speak. To make a general comment by telephone, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and identify yourself. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who would like to make a general comment? Chairperson, there are no more speakers.
Thank you. I just have a quick announcement. The board noticed and took comment today on agenda item number 35 for Carlick Mayweather's CDCR number D as in David 32829. The board will not be considering that matter today, as we found out during the meeting today that very early this morning, Mr. Mayweather's passed. And so we will not be reconsidering the parole decision today. So our condolences to anybody who may be listening to this and knows Mr. Mayweather's. We did not have any persons speaking on his behalf today, but I wanted to let folks know why they will not be seeing a decision in that matter posted this evening. Thank you.
On behalf of my colleagues, I wish to thank everyone for participating today. We will recess the open session of the November Executive Board meeting at this time. We will return briefly following closed session to adjourn today's meeting.
All right, guys, it looks like this hearing is over. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And I have some other hearings coming up from, hey, what's up, MStar Media? How's it going? I have some other another hearing from Connecticut that I'll be starting up shortly. Anyhow, like I say around here, lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that,